Hello, geeks and ghouls. This is Miss Misery here with Alex.
Hey.
It's just Alex.
Yeah.
Ryan's in New Orleans, and I don't know where Sam is. You are listening to KDUX Web Radio, broadcast live from Richland College in Dallas, Texas. We are the voice of Richland College, even though we probably shouldn't be. Views expressed on this show are my own unless otherwise stated and do not reflect the opinion of KDUX Web Radio, Richland College, or the DCCCD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems about right.
I'm gonna move these so I can do things.
I mean, you do you, man. You do you.
I don't know, man. This is weird. We're gonna. Yep. There we go. Okay, that
now,
works.
Now, pineapple pizza is good. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Pineapple on pizza. Look, you can judge me all day.
Natural selection is coming for you.
You can judge me all day, all night. But pineapple pizza, pineapple on pizza is good. All right, it's good. I like it. I won't judge you. We are a minority. We must stand together against the oppressors that don't like pineapple on their pizza. You may argue with, but pineapple's a fruit. It shouldn't be on pizza. You're wrong.
I'll fight you now. As I was saying with him earlier, I won't turn my nose up at it. I just wouldn't go out of my way to order it.
Yeah. But I'd eat
my Google search knows me so well. It's okay, so I'm typing in top 10 cults, right? And it's got top 10 anime, top 10 songs, top 10 anime betrayals.
It's almost like it knew just what you were looking for.
I know. Okay, here we go. We're going to do cults today because normally Sam and Ryan have the murderer, so I don't have a murder plan, so we're just going to wing it.
Okay, that's fine.
It is hot in here, bejeebus.
I'm got my layered jacket, so I can't really feel anything.
Why is it snowing on my screen?
Because it's winter? Question mark?
Okay, this is from... Go away, Christine. I'll talk to you later. This is from top10topia.com. The top 10 most famous cults in the United States history.
If Alex's name ain't on any of them, then they ain't really that famous, TBH.
Okay. The United States has had its share of infamous cults. The term cult is one disputed among theologists, authorities, and deprogramming experts. In fact, some use the phrase new religious movement or NRM because they feel cult has too many connotations and isn't accurate enough. Most governments take a stance on legitimate churches and cult activities by the level of coercion and brainwashing used to maintain memberships. We're not allowed to say certain things on here. I have things to say about certain things.
I want to see what it says. If there's language in it,
no, there's not. I have certain things about a certain group that I feel should fit under that, but we're not allowed to say anything.
See,
about
cults aren't all bad. All right, some cults are good. Not their motives may not have been that good, but their member count was high, which means they were doing something right.
Their distinctions are often for tax purposes, but also have a major bearing on whether a cult will face persecution. With that in mind, here are the most famous and infamous cults in American history. Number 1, Branch Davidians. I've never heard of this.
Oh, I know of them. I don't know about. I've heard them be talked about from people I know, but I haven't researched them on my own. So I heard a little bit about them, just not on my own accord.
Okay. Branch Davidians were formed by David Koresh, born Vernon Howell in 1959. Koresh joined the Church of the Seventh-day Adventists, but was expelled due to his radical views. I've never even heard of that. What is the Church of Seventh-day Adventists?
We're going to do some research.
Yeah. Among these views were the fact that he was expelled due to radical views. Among these views was the fact that he was a messiah and all women were his spiritual wives.
I mean, what do you expect me to say to that?
Go big or go home.
That is something I would say. Let's give him an A for effort, because he didn't just say, all women I like my girls. No. Spiritually, they're his spiritual wives. He's like next level, man. That's like, I couldn't even pull that off. Like, I'm pretty charismatic, but like, I couldn't pull that off.
No,
Man.
we're saving you for the Church of the Helix. All hail the Helix fossil.
Actually,
You may not use that
I
here.
praise Lord Gumi. All right.
A palm
All right.
today. A
That's
palm today.
That's, looks good. I mean, it looks like blood, but.
You're saying this to the goth. Come on. Yeah, so where were we? Spiritual wives. Wielding a guitar. David Koresh went on to form the branch of Davidians. Wow, he named it after himself.
That's kind of narcissistic,
Yeah.
but
Who believed
cool.
the end of the world was near, and Koresh spoke the word of God. They located to Waco, Texas.
you think we could go find some of them? You think we could go find some of them and hang out with them?
I'd rather not. I don't want to be around someone who thinks I'm his spiritual wife.
I mean, they might have some good. They
I might need you
like
for
anime.
protection.
Oh, that comes with the job. That's like that's gonna happen. I'm not like, they're like, oh wow, this lady, let me touch her. I'm gonna like be like, no, and then deck him in the mouth.
Waco, Texas, and began to amass an armory of weapons. The combination of arming themselves in their Waco compound and Koresh's own scandalous sexual practices, including sleeping with other church's members' wives and marrying underage girls because he's a gross creep, brought an unwelcome spotlight on the branch of Davidians. This culminated in a March 1993 botched raid by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, which ended with 4 ATF agents and 6 Branch Davidians dead and Koresh wounded. A 51-day siege at the compound ensued, and the siege, which was covered by 24/7 by CNN and other news agencies. Back when CNN wasn't a joke.
The people that like were with this dude had to believe at least a little bit of what he was saying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. How else would he marry these kids? I'd have to say children.
He had to convince them that he was the equivalent of Jesus, and that every woman was just his wife, his spiritual wife. He had to convince people to believe this. Not only that, I'll give him some credit on that. He convinced people to believe this. True, but like, my dude, that's not how you do it. Like, don't be like, every woman is my spiritual wife. No, and then marry kids. That's not cool.
No.
That ain't cool.
So here's the part that really bothers me to an extent is every day the media reported on how much money the raid was costing the government. Never mind, CNN was always trash. This guy is arming a group of people, marrying children, and doing God knows what else, but money. Money.
I mean, he might be the good time, just without all the guns and stuff.
Yeah. While pressure mounted on new Attorney General Janet Reno to be strong and decisive, finally tanks were used to interject tear gas into the sides of the building and in the compound. Soon, flames began to erupt through the compound. In the end, 77 Branch Davidians died in the fire. Among those were 20 children. Gun advocates took a dim view of the Fed seizing weapons, while the American public was appalled at how the Clinton administration handled the events. 2 years later, to the date of the deaths, Timothy McVeigh, not a Branch Davidian, bombed the Alfred P. Murrah building in Oklahoma, supposedly as a payback for the raid.
So he blew up some stuff because they got raided.
Yeah. Even though he wasn't a part of this cult.
So he got put down for doing this in their name,
Yeah.
even though he didn't believe what they believed.
Yeah.
Not only that.
Because he claimed that he believed them, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah.
He must have brought him up
Yeah.
in conversation. And they were like, "Oh, he brought him up."
Yeah, well, he's saying it was supposedly as payback for the raid.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I mean, then again, how many kids died?
20.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
What he did wasn't right, but 20 kids died.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to pay for those kids.
I'd say
Untimely
David
deaths.
Koresh should.
Yes.
Not the police who handled it. Like, what else were they supposed to do at this point? The stage went on
Yeah.
for 51 days.
They were armed. They had a militia. That was a militia. Small militia or big militia, however you want to look at it. Cup half full, glass half empty.
The cup is half full, but the glass is half empty.
Yeah, it's however you want to look at it. But like this dude, he like got people to get weapons, and then persuaded them to be like, yeah, my kid, I'm gonna hook you up with my kid.
Yeah.
And then they were
gross.
and then they were okay with it. And then not only that, after he married these kids, presumably he did other things to these kids. Come on now.
Yeah.
But like people still believed him even though he was married to their kid. That's kind of strange. But then again, it was a cult, so you whisper something in someone's ear long enough, they'll believe it.
Yep. Okay, number 2 is the Manson family. We know this one. You know this one, right?
I do? Do I know this one?
Charles Manson, the Manson family.
Oh,
Yeah. Everyone knows the Manson family. Okay, he
It's
was
the
executed
Manson
recently, wasn't he?
family. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know there are Twitter not Twitter, Tumblr blogs that are
Yes.
talking about that say he did like nothing wrong and stuff like that?
Tumblr has a serial killer fandom, and they have a serial killer fandom, and they have a shoplifting fandom, and they're both really gross and tend to cross over.
The whole shoplifting one, that one kind of peeved me off a little bit, cuz like these people act high and mighty for literally stealing. They're admitting to these crimes. Then they want to be like, "Oh yeah, I did it." And then like if like say a police officer got this evidence, like got this Tumblr blog, you can get arrested for this.
Oh no, I'm just gonna open it right now. I'm actually a part of a group on Tumblr where like I used to work at Barnes and Noble, where we will look at certain blogs, and it's like just random people that I do this with, and we'll be like, "Oh, I used to work here, and I used to work here. We're gonna print off this blog name and send it to corporate."
Like
And now the corporate will look like if on a list certain things were stolen, like they list out everything that was stolen in one day at this one store, and they see that match stolen at one of their specific stores, then they know to look for it.
like
So y'all better watch out.
Like,
I'm watching
these
you.
people are literally admitting to their crimes, and they're like acting high and mighty about.
I'm
high and
stealing
mighty
because
about
I need it. You don't need $100
If
worth
you-
of
if
MAC
you-
makeup.
it. Like if you don't really need it if you're gonna steal it, cause
If you have a laptop and internet and Tumblr, you don't need to steal to get things.
You kind of don't really need it, cause you have what you need.
Yeah.
With some exclusions, of course, but like you would already have what you need.
Yeah.
Why take it? You're not Robin Hood. You're like not taking it and then giving it to someone for the benefit of like being good.
See, that's the problem with a lot of people on Tumblr, not even just in like the serial killer or stealing, but like in the, if you like the people on Tumblr who for some reason, like I have some people I follow, and one of the guys is now getting harassed because his wife is only 25 and he's in his early 40s, and they're treating her like a child.
But she's 25.
Exactly, she's an adult, but they don't care.
I never really liked Tumblr,
Yeah,
to be perfectly honest.
But they have this like Robin Hood oppressive complex.
Not only that, it's just Tumblr in general. It's like every time someone who is reasonable, thinks for themselves,
Markiplier, Jack.
like people who actually are good, wholesome people go to
Tumblr
Tumblr.
hates them.
Like they get can't say that. They get talked about on Tumblr, and like there are these full-on blogs just throwing shade on them, and they did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And not to mention the whole like LGBT community on Tumblr.
Oh God.
Ugh.
Don't start. I made the
Like-
mistake of admitting I was asexual on Tumblr. I'm not doing that
It's
again.
like, that-
It was like the whole PewDiePie scandal when he did all the stupid things he did.
okay, with PewDiePie, all right, with PewDiePie. What he said in the end, like in the heat of the moment thing,
Yeah.
I understand that. As a gamer and as someone who talks trash, I understood. I get wholeheartedly. But like people shouldn't have been like, oh, he said it to like demean the other player. And like, yeah, that's kind of why he said it. 'Cause like that player kind of pulled something and it wasn't.
My only
okay.
issue with it is he did it so closely after doing something else stupid to the point where it's like you're committing
But then
career
again,
suicide.
But then again, like media is kind of going after Pew.
Oh yeah, the
Wall Street Journal.
Wall Street Journal like edited his stuff to make him look bad. But like basically what happened after that was Markiplier made a video not even bringing up PewDiePie, just saying how we should remember that everyone is a human being and we should be respectful, and Tumblr
And then he cried.
dogpiled him for it.
But Mark is an emotional man.
He is a sweet bean.
He's a pure emotional man. He cries in his videos, and it really hits me hard because I'm an emotional dude.
Yeah, no, like there was that joke with a few years back. One guy who kind of knows him off of the YouTube community got hacked while at PAX, and Mark came over and was freaking out about it. And in the guy's YouTube video about it, he's like, "I'm not even mad that I was hacked. I was mad that you made Mark upset over me getting hacked." We're so off topic right now.
I mean, I think today's just one of those days.
Yeah.
Like, normally we'd be like, everything, like, we don't even really need to have a schedule. Because, like, today, why not just have this episode just be off? Like, off,
Yeah.
we're already winging it.
I'm running on no sleep.
We're already winging it. It's like time to commit. Let's commit to this, all right?
Okay. All right. Number 2 is the Charles Manson family.
Okay.
Charles Manson founded a cult called The Family in San Francisco in 1967. Sorry. 60, what am I thinking?
69, 67.
I'm running on no sleep. The Manson family is one of the rare cases of a non-religious cult, though the Manson's beliefs at times involve Scientology, Satanism, and other esoteric beliefs. Manson prophesied that America, well, it's prophesied, but I don't think that's a word. Prophesied that America would soon have a race war he named Helter Skelter after a Beatles song. This war would be won by the African Americans, but they would soon turn to whites for leadership. Charles Manson and his cult would hide out during the war, emerging afterwards to lead the victorious.
So, was he for racism or against it?
I don't know.
Because he, like, my people were going to win the war. But then
I don't know, man.
they, like, turned to the people they beat for leadership.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Charles Manson made no sense. I don't know how anyone found him attractive when he was younger, because dude did not look nice. To help instigate the race war, Manson ordered killings in the nearby area as a frame job for African Americans. I'm going to say he was a racist.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say he was a racist just a little bit. Just a little bit.
So I'm going to say he was a racist. 9 people were murdered, including coffee heiress Abigail Folger of Folger's Coffee, and actress Sharon Tate, the pregnant wife of Hollywood director Roman Polanski. The brutal stabbings and cryptic messages written in blood, rise, death to pigs, helter skelter, horrified Americans, so the murders became a national sensation. Charles Manson was convicted and sentenced to death, but California banned the death penalty, so he's lived decades in prison, except that he was executed finally.
Yeah, he was finally executed. How long was that?
I'd say a long time.
That was a minute. That was a minute ago. I know it's still pretty recent, but it's still,
it was like
there's some time between now and when it happened. But I know like he got, and so like he's not kind of breathing no more. Yeah. And then like
pardon me.
And then the people that were on Tumblr that like idolize him or whatever were like rest in peace, and like that kind of rubbed me the wrong way because he took innocent lives, and that's already red flag in my eyes.
Oh, I guess he wasn't executed, but he died at the hospital.
Still counts.
Yeah, he's still dead. I still think he should have been executed. Okay. Number 3, Heaven's Gate. This actually sounds familiar. Let me see what all I can remember from reading this. Heaven's Gate made the headlines in March of 1997. Ooh, I was about 4 years old.
97. I was... Wait, it was March of 97?
Yeah.
I wasn't even born yet.
Oh, God. It's those alien guys, the spaceship people.
You remembered.
Well, I just murder, kill themselves in the spaceship, and I was like, oh, God, these guys.
You remembered.
Okay, so yeah, Heaven's Gate made the headlines on March of 1997 when 39 members of the cult killed themselves in hope of reaching a spaceship which was following in the wake of the newly discovered Hale-Bopp comet.
That brings up, this is like not relevant to it, but in Fallout New Vegas, there's this mission where you can help these ghouls who like want to get on these rocket ships, right? And go to the, what is it called? The other, they're trying to get to another place. And it's like, this place is supposed to be filled with radiation, really good for ghouls, so on and so forth. And you help these ghouls, and one of the people that is working with the ghouls is a human. And he's like talking like a ghoul, acting like a ghoul. He calls you smooth skin, which is like that term for
Ghoul speak.
It's ghoul speak for human.
Yeah.
Because like they're still human, but they don't look human.
Yeah.
Because their skin falls off because of radiation. But he's a smooth skin, and he has to take Radaway and like Rad-X to keep the radiation from literally killing him. And
then why is he hanging out with these people?
let me
Okay.
I'm getting there. He actually is hanging out with them because he thinks he's a ghoul. They did not want to tell him that he isn't a ghoul. Like, they told him and he didn't believe it. But like after a while, like they just left him there because he's like he can do computer stuff. And then they were just like, we'll keep him on. And then once you get there, they're like, we need your help. Kill these big invisible guys. And then you do that. And then they're like, all right, we're going to go to the other plane. And then like they get in the rockets. And then when they're loading up into the rockets, the main dude, who's a glowing ghoul, by the way. That's a whole nother story for another time. But after like that, he talks to you and he's like, this dude, he means well and he wants to support us, but he can't come with us because he's a human and he will die.
They love him. They don't want him to
like
die.
But then you have to either break the news to him, or you have to break the news to him, and you either have to keep him from killing them because you can set the course for the rocket ships to crash into each other. Or you can tell them not to do it, and then you can set the rocket ships to crash into each other, or you can just leave them be and have the rockets go off and go to where they're supposed to go. I've done all of those, but when you tell him, he's like, "Oh, they used me. Oh, this is horrible. I can't trust them anymore." And then like that's when he's like, "Man, I just want to kill him." And then me being the saint I am, was like, no, you shouldn't do it. But then, like, after you talk him down, then he's like, oh, fine, I won't do it. But, like, these are the resources you need to go get. You go get those, and then you come back. And then he's like, oh, now that you got me the stuff, you can you can get the rockets and set them off, because I got to put the stuff here together. And then after you set the controls up, you can set the rockets off. They'll like fly in weird patterns and then like fly off, or they crash into each other. And I crashed them into each other. And that's what that reminded me of. 'Cause I didn't kill them per se, but 2 rockets did crash into each other. And these are nuclear rockets, by the way. These are nuclear-powered rockets, by the way. In the game, they don't blow up that much, and they just crash into each other. But in
real
reality,
life, it would have.
your player character would have been dead.
Oh God.
Man, I love talking about my Fallout stories.
Okay. The investigation that followed confirmed that Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles, because those are great names. I'd start a cult too if I was named Applewhite or Nettles. Were the founders of Heaven's Gate. Applewhite had a near-death experience in the early 1970s and claimed to have had a vision. Bonnie
Was he
Nettles.
on LSD?
Probably not. I don't know. Bonnie Nettles was his nurse at the time. They became convinced they were the two mentioned in the books of Revelations 11:3 and began to attract followers. The entire group committed suicide by taking cyanide and arsenic, phenobarbital mixed with pineapple juice, and finally vodka. All were dressed in similar black attire and tennis shoes with the armband patches that said Heaven's Gates Away Team. I think there was an episode based off of this in one of my crime shows. It may have been CSI or NCIS.
It may have been. Do you watch documentaries on like cults and stuff? Yeah, of course you watch documentaries. On
Yes, it's me. Speaking of which, there's this awesome new documentary about people who run haunted houses, and we should watch it, but I warn you, you will get angry.
How angry?
Because apparently there are idiots out there who like to harass people who run haunted houses. There are people who will abandon their family members who run haunted houses. It's stupid.
That will get me angry.
Yeah.
I'm down, but I want to see how angry I get.
Okay. Number 4, Jonestown.
Okay. I know of a Jonestown.
Yeah. Jim Jones is the most infamous cult leader in American history. Jim Jones had certain Pentecostal beliefs, but his preaching attracted many African Americans in the 1950s to the 1970s, mainly because he had progressive views on racial equality. Jim Jones's cult, People's Temple, first relocated to Utah because he believed this would give the cult the best chance of surviving a nuclear war. By the 1970s, he had denominations in Los Angeles and San Francisco, and Jim Jones actually had a certain amount of political clout.
You said nuclear war. Fallout is a game that revolves around a big nuclear war.
Calm down, Fallout Boy. Oh, I'm burping. I had Chef Boyardee for breakfast. What? Sorry, we can hear the program runner in the back. What did he do?
It's like they're on to me.
Yeah, they're on to me. In 1977, the New West magazine decided to publish an expose on Jim Jones and his cult. Jones chose to relocate his congregation to the Commune in Guyana, a socialist country in South America.
We should start a cult.
I think this would be a bad idea.
I think you're wrong.
When U.S. Congressman Leo Ryan flew to Guyana to meet with Jim Jones, Jim Jones. Okay, there's a period there, and there shouldn't be, because it would just, when U.S. Congressman Leo Ryan flew out to meet with Jim Jones, period. Jones's people eventually shot and killed Representative Ryan. Knowing justice would soon arrive from U.S. authorities, Jim Jones decided to go out in the most dramatic fashion possible with mass suicide. This is where the term comes from. Mm-hmm. Over 900 members of the People's Temple drank poison mixed with flavor aid, though some might have drunk the punch
Kool-Aid.
to the point of gunshot.
Kool-Aid.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Yeah, that's where the term comes from. Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
But I like Kool-Aid.
I also like Kool-Aid.
I like Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid recipe. You get a pitcher. Get 2 packs Kool-Aid.
Cyanide. No.
Maybe some cyanide. You might be feeling adventurous, but get 2 packs Kool-Aid. Why am I explaining a Kool-Aid recipe?
I don't know.
I'm not gonna stop. But you get your pitcher. And you put. You can do it any way you want. But you could put get 3 cups or 2.5, depending on how much sugar. I know some people can't take a lot of sugar, so on and so forth. Get 2.5 cups, 3 cups. I like 3 cups. I like it sweet. And then you dump those into the pitcher, and then you get your Kool-Aid packets, and you empty those into the pitcher, and then after that, you put it under the faucet, run that water.
Wait, are you just telling us how to make Kool-Aid?
Yes.
I thought you were like gonna add something in like and then you put some applesauce in there or something. No, you're just telling us how to make Kool-Aid.
Yeah. I was like, am I actually gonna do this? Because if so, then you were like, yeah, keep going. And I was like, okay. And then after you're done, don't fill it all the way, but fill it a good 75%, 65%
for this right now.
80%. No, that's 55. No, 65. Yeah, build a good 65%. I don't know the measurement for that in cooking terms, but you can figure it out. And then after you do that, you put the lid on it, or whatever you have at home.
Did you get any sleep either?
Yes. This is just normal. And then after you put the lid on it, just stick it in the fridge for about 3 to 4 hours, and then serve.
Goodness gracious. Following up with that, number 5 is Scientology.
Isn't that one actor, what's his name? Matt Damon. Yeah. Isn't he a Scientologist?
I think he is. When a religion's founder is known to have said, if a man really wants to make $1 million, the best way would be to start his own religion, you should beware of that religion.
Wait. But I want some of my own religion. I don't want to make money off of it, but I want to do that. I guess I should beware.
This is what L. Ron Hubbard was quoted as saying to a 1948 science fiction convention while complaining about being paid a penny a word for his writing. Scientology was founded in 1952 by science fiction author L. R. Hubbard, the same guy. Mm-hmm. Scientology was based off of Hubbard's system of Dianetics, which he called the modern science of mental health. Dianetics was supposed to be an alternative to modern psychology, which Hubbard claimed was lacking. According to those who left the cult, the core tenets of Scientology are hidden from members until they attain a certain level in the cult. The early stages involve manipulation of theoretic life force energy called theta, which represents the true identity of a person. Manipulation of this force helps one get clear, done through an auditing process by higher-ranking members. Thetans are also a race which created the universe for their own enjoyment, but at high levels, members are introduced to the story of Xenu.
Wait. If these things made the universe, right? Mm-hmm. What do you think they did in their spare time when they weren't making the universe?
I don't know. They made us because they were bored, apparently.
Did they just not like their day jobs?
I guess.
Were they just like, man?
This is so stupid. Members are introduced to the story of Xenu, a tyrant who rules the Galactic Confederacy. This revelation has caused some members to leave the cult, while the churches of Scientology's heavy-handed tactics, isolation, and lawsuits have not only kept many members in line, but also served to maintain a conspiracy of silence among former members for fear of legal retribution. It can be argued the Church of Scientology is not a cult based on its recognition by the IRS as a church for tax purposes. Italy, Spain, Portugal, Taiwan, and a number of other countries have recognized Scientology as a church. At the same time, the United Kingdoms, Germany, France, Belgium, Greece, and Canada have all deemed Scientology a cult and refused to recognize its legitimacy. See, that's what we should do. They're not a church. They're crazy people.
But I think all religion should just be... Because, it's done more harm than good. Just believing in something and not believing in oneself.
Yeah.
Because if you haven't noticed, I'm a Buddhist. But
Wiccan, whatever.
It's like when you believe, when you put your belief into something or someone, then you don't really
I think another part of it is just really crappy people needing a shield. So they use religion as their shield to do crappy things.
It's oh yeah, they did this, or something tragic happens, and they'll be like, oh, but that was God's will or something. Yeah. And then that really just
yeah. Number 6, Unification Church. The Unification Church might not strike a chord, but this is the cult founded by the Reverend Sun Myung Moon. Moon?
Moon?
Born
Call
in what
Moon.
is now North Korea. In 1920, Sun Myung-moon claimed to have had a vision when he was 16 that Jesus Christ did not finish his work on earth, having perfect children, and he, Moon, should carry on Jesus' work. Preaching on behalf of this new faith in the wake of the Japanese withdrawal from Korea at the end of World War II, he was arrested and put in North Korean prison camp. He escaped when the U.S. Army overran the camp in 1950 and made his way to America, where he became a Presbyterian. When he was excommunicated from the Presbyterian Church in 1954, Sun Myung-moon founded the Holy Spirit Association for the Unification of World Christianity. Reverend Moon told his flock that only he could choose their marriage partners after 7 years in the church, and he became infamous for his mass marriage ceremonies. By the 1970s, Moon, a successful businessman, had renamed the cult the Unification Church and moved to New York City, where he gained too much attention. Parents filing lawsuits against the cult while also publicizing their attempts to deprogram their brainwashed children. This led to a 1982 tax evasion conviction. The Unification Church still exists, though Moon died in 2010.
So people are still like,
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Like people are still believing that.
Yeah.
That's kind of tragic. It's kind of messed
I'm
up.
gonna butcher this so bad. Number 7 is the Baiwan Sri Ron.
Let me do it. Let me do it. Okay. We're gonna do this the American way. We're gonna sound it out. All right. It might be Bhagwan Sri Ragnish. Bhagwan Sri Ragnish. There we go.
The Bhagwan Sri Ragnish. Bhagwan Sri Ragnish was an Indian Hindi mystic and guru who had an international following prior to his appearance in the United States. In 1981, Bhagwan Sri Rajin brought his congregation to Oregon, because it's always Oregon, where it remained from 1981 until 1985. In 1985, U.S. authorities discovered that the Bhagwan cult had committed an act of bioterror attack when it unleashed a virus in the people of Dallas, Oregon. Because apparently there's a place called Dallas in Oregon too. Contaminating their food. Apparently this was an effort to rig a local election. Bhagwan was arrested and charged with immigration violations and eventually deported from the country. 21 nations refused him entry into their country. At the time of his ascendancy in Oregon, Bhagwan had the world's largest Rolls-Royce automobile. Number 8, Children of God family.
Wait. Before we move on to the next one,
Yeah.
there's something that this guy's name reminded me of.
Yeah.
Again, ooh, Alex, that memory boy. Oof. But like, it's a skit. You've probably seen Team 4-Star.
Yeah.
And like with the whole Vegeta on Planet Namek, and then it reminded me of the Bhagwan, where's from Vegeta? I be a spirit animal, and
God.
I'm gonna teach you how to bash up that Boomba Frieza.
God. Now I'm just having flashbacks to the Wolverine X-Men. They had him meet his spirit animal, and it was a panda.
Oh no!
That's because pandas are scary when they're mad.
You like hippos.
Hippos are terrifying.
Hippos are People think that when hippos are like opening their mouth and whatnot, that they're just being cute. Oh, look at their tusks. No, that's a warning sign.
They gonna kill you. Okay. Number 8, the Children of God Family International. The Children of God was founded by David Moses Berg. Moses, that wasn't his actual name.
Hey, my real dad's name Moses. He's not that swell of a guy.
In 1968. After his death in 1994, he died when I was born. I'm going to count that as a good sign. The Children of God changed their names to Family International. David Berg was born in California in 1919 and came up in a Disciples of Christ sect. Berg served as a minister in Arizona and in Miami, Florida
I should become a reverend.
Before moving his family to, once again, Texas.
Okay, why is it that crazy people want to move to Oregon, Texas, the South?
I don't know.
Like, why is this? Why is this?
From seclusion, David Berg created a widespread cult following through his writings. Though the Children of God espoused his Christian beliefs, though many churches would view his beliefs as heretical, the Children of God's founder preached against moral decay and the belief of evolution, along with mainstream religion, Western-style capitalism, and the Jewish people, and even pedophilia laws.
Wait, was he for or against? He was against them.
He was against them.
Against laws that
More than likely, he was okay with pedophilia.
That's not
It's
Gucci.
not. It's not. It's not Gucci at all. In the early phase of the internet, the story of Mary Berg, granddaughter of David Berg, came to light through the words of Mary herself. Mary talked of the beatings, isolations, and exorcisms she suffered when she began to question her grandfather's hypocrisy at the age of 14.
Oh, let him exercise me right quick.
According to Mary, Moses was an alcoholic who sent her to live in Macau with her uncle when she would not repent. For the next several years, she and several other teenagers were forced to live in a teen detention home, Victor's home, to force them to remain cultists. She was eventually placed in a mental institute and drugged at age 18 in 1992. After not breaking, the cult sent her to live with her mother, who was no longer part of the commune. She has since spoken out against the classic cult behavior. Oh boy! Number 9, the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Woo, Latter-day Saints.
It's almost as if they've been on this show before.
They haven't. I just know that name really well. Latter-day Saints. Okay, Latter-day Saints is the cult founded by current convict Warren Jeffs. Jeff's story caused a media circus when it first came to national attention in 2006 after he reached the FBI's top 10 most wanted list. The Fundamentalist Church is one of the many break-off sects from the main Mormon Church due to their excommunication for continuing to practice polygamy. This is what got Warren Jeffs convicted to prison. Separate counts of incest and sexual misconduct with minors. Ew. Since Jeffs was sent away to prison, it's unclear who leads the Fundamentalist Church. While people might argue with Warren Jeffs' 10,000 member group isn't a cult, others would argue that the entire Mormon faith is in itself a cult. I wouldn't go so far as
Actually, I don't really have no ill will towards Mormonism because there's a character in Fallout named Joshua Graham. He almost converted me. Like, I have so much respect for this dude you would not believe.
Okay, we have one more cult and 9 more minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Number 10, the 12 tribes. Oh! 12. I wonder if this has anything to do with it. Okay, yeah. 12 tribes. 12 tribes. The 12 tribes were founded by Albert Eugene Spriggs, often known as Yonek. In 1971, it seems Spriggs, like most other cult leaders, claimed to have had a vision, in this case while on a Los Angeles beach. Before that time, Spriggs had been a high school counselor and a carnival baker, whose professions which provided him with skills he would later use as the cult leader. 13 years later, he was jet-setting international traveler with a palatial home in the south of France, Brazil, and Cape Cod. The reclusive Yonek was moved his cult about the country several times to avoid scrutiny. In 1984, authorities seized over 100 cult kids in a raid of Island Pond, Vermont, after brutal abuse allegations came to light. To date, the group has at least 7 compounds in New England, but is thought to have a total of 30 worldwide. Among their beliefs is no dichotomy between heaven and hell, but instead the 3 eternal destinies. So there's that YouTube series I like, Tribe 12, which I'm guessing is based off of the 12 tribe, or what it was supposed to be, because it's a Slender Man scary story series, is the guy was running a school project about the 12 tribes, and he was opening a YouTube channel that was his project, but then the project got canceled, and he used it to upload the last videos he had of him and his now deceased cousin in show. He's not really dead. None of this is real. Of his now deceased cousin as like a memorial. And as he's uploading the videos, he's starting to notice like really weird things, parts they didn't record, his cousin walking around the house at night with the recorder, and it goes on this crazy story. Look it up. So yeah, we just talked about cults and Fallout and Tumblr.
All in the same show.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah. And how to make it, too.
And how to make Kool-Aid. So, we will cut it off there. This has been Zoinks with Miss Misery and Alex because everyone's abandoning us.
I'll be the star of the show.
Yeah, you're basically the co-host at this point. I mean, if I don't come in, it's Alex, go for it. Fall out it.
I will literally have a show where I just talk about
Alien Isolation it. Okay. You are listening to KDUX Web Radio, broadcast live from Richland College in Dallas, Texas. We are the voice of Richland College, even though we really shouldn't be, because one of us wants to start a cult. Disclaimer, views expressed on this show are my own.
One of us and 0.5 of us.
Views expressed on this show are my own unless otherwise stated and do not reflect the opinion of KDUX Web Radio, Richland College, or the DCCCD. Thank goodness for that. Have a good day and stay out of the daylight.